else.
Right, I've been telling you guys for months and months and months now that Team Wilder, do not want the Joshua fight. They don't want it. There's too many scenarios out there that show that Team Wilder just don't want the fight. When Joshua was negotiating with Wilder originally, right before the Parker fight, or before Parker and Joshua agreed to fight even, Wilder was running around saying 50-50 or no fight. Why? Because he was worried that an offer was going to come through. So he automatically cut that chain and said, no, 50-50, knowing full well he ain't getting 50-50. I mean, for crying out loud, the guy's done 10 years and done nothing, literally nothing. He's got that WBC belt hostage, fighting people who don't deserve world title shots. To be honest, he never deserved it. For him to get a world title shot, what did he do? He beat Jason Gavin. I mean, have a word. So anyway, Eddie Hearn, on an IFL TV interview, he says that Deontay Wilder is an idiot. Deontay Wilder is wasting everybody's time, because Wilder has apparently said, and I haven't read this myself, but apparently he said that he wants 60-40 in the Joshua fight. No, not 60-40 in Joshua's favour. No, 60-40 in his favour. 60-40 in his favour. Yeah, it's not about money, right? It's about legacy, because he loves his fans. I promise my fans and all this kind of thing. Even though Joshua is the one who's done all the work, he's the one who's been out unifying, he's the one who's been taking on the top guys in the division, while Wilder's only done it one time. And against a guy, let's be real, 1 hour before the fight, they didn't want to let him in the damn ring because he was failing the damn medical in Luis Ortiz. 1 hour before the fight, they had Brazil on standby. But regardless of that, he has fought a legitimate top 10 guy. Congratulations on your 40th fight, you managed to do it. But in a 19,000-seater arena in Brooklyn, New York, you can only put 14,500 people in the arena. In the biggest fight in heavyweight boxing, as Wilder was calling it. My God. His highest payday was 2.1 million in that very same fight against Luis Ortiz. Don't get me wrong, 2.1 million is very good money. But when you're comparing it to Joshua, have a word. Have an absolute word with yourself. It's like saying that the President of the United States should take a backseat to the Mongolian president. I don't really know why I said Mongolia, but, But that's how it is. Because Wilder, 60-40 in his favour. And the thing is, what's worrying about this is that there's a lot of people out there who will actually believe that Wilder's right. That he should get 60-40. Maybe 50-50. These people will say that because he's a WBC champion and he's been champion longer. Right, you've just said it from your own mouth, because I've heard plenty of people say it. Yes, he's been champion longer, but what's he done? The biggest names on his resume are the ones that he almost fought but didn't. It's weird that, isn't it? On what plan? Now, if people say 60-40 in Joshua's favour, I still think that's way too much for Wilder. But even if you guys were saying 60-40 in Joshua's favour, I can't argue too much. I can't argue with it. Now, ultimately, however much Wilder gets and Joshua gets, doesn't really affect me and you, right? But these very same people who's been going on for a long, long time now, for nearly a year, when nobody knew who the hell Wilder was. In fact, I was talking about Wilder before these clowns were. Yeah, I've only been doing this for 20 months, 21 months. Yeah, I was talking about Wilder before they were. But yeah, suddenly now, from a long time, where they've been saying that Joshua fans talk about splits and talk about money, counting other people's pockets, and yet as soon as negotiations come around with Wilder, they all turn into damn chartered accountants. No, Wilder should walk away. Wilder should not accept 15 million. Wilder shouldn't do this, and Wilder should do that. Really? Are you not counting another man's pockets? Even though Wilder said it's not about money, it's all about legacy. You guys can't get around that bit. And he comes out and says 60-40. I mean, what an absolute oath. Now I said, there'll be plenty of people out there, especially the channels, who will agree with Wilder. Who will agree with it. These people are not boxing fans, or they don't have any kind of common sense to them if they genuinely believe it. I mean, have a word with yourself. 60-40. Anyway, Eddie Hearn, he goes mad about it. He calls him an idiot. He's a time waster. He don't want to fight. All this kind of thing. And he goes into some pretty big rant on it. And of course, I'll put the video in the description box for you all to have a watch of. But it's absolutely outrageous. And I've been telling you guys for months that Wilder don't want the fight. He just doesn't want it. He don't want it. And somehow, even though Joshua was the one who approached Wilder in the first place, Joshua don't want the fight. Joshua offers him 5 times more money than he's ever made in his life, $12.5 million. But yet, Joshua don't want the fight. And even though it's not about money, it's about legacy, right? According to Wilder, $12.5 million, just ignores it. He then comes out with a $50 million fake offer that was coming from Frank Warren on BT Sport. Again, Frank Warren confirmed this. Joshua can't fight on BT Sport. It's impossible. Impossible. Unless a guy is a mandatory and Joshua loses a purse bid. Then, legally, he has to fight his mandatory on BT Sport in that scenario. But against Wilder or any other champion, it's a voluntary defence, so it cannot happen. So again, that 50 million was fake. But yet people are still hanging on to that one. They're still making excuses about that one. So Joshua goes back and gives him $15 million. Wilder calls it crackhead money. Right after he agreed to it. He agreed to the terms, he agreed to the conditions, he agreed to fight in the UK for $15 million. He gets a contract, well, there's no date and no venue. It's going to be at the Principality Stadium, you complete plum. That was obvious. And it's going to be in the last week of October or first week in November. Again, obvious. No, not Wembley Stadium. Again, people still talk about Wembley Stadium. No, not Wembley. Because then it wouldn't have been pay-per-view in the US because of the whole Canelo and Triple G rematch. They weren't going to put on pay-per-view in the US. Showtime were refusing to do it on that date, which was the only date, September 22nd, that Joshua could fight at Wembley Stadium. Hence the reason why he fought Povetkin, because that wasn't pay-per-view in the US. So yeah, Principality Stadium, Cardiff, Wales. So, and now he's saying how, even though he got this contract and made up all these excuses about rematch clauses and whatever else, even though he's done bugger all his entire career. I mean, bugger, sod all. He's done nothing. Nothing. If he was British, he would have been thrown into the Thames River. He'd have been thrown in there, flung off for embarrassing us. I mean, look at Anthony Yarde. He's on 17 fights, and most people are actually leaving the arena before the main event comes on because they don't want to watch him fight yet another bum. They don't want to do it. You've got British channels like myself having a go about Yarde not taking on the domestic guys. Keeps on fighting people that we've never heard of. And this is 17 fights, not 40, 17 fights. We did it with David Hay, with his Audley Harrison fights and things like that. And he's cherry picking. Cherry picking that went bad when he cherry picked Tony Bellew rather than Joseph Parker for the World WBO title. Again, people like me jumped on him for it. But yet, it seems that stateside, not all of course, but a select few who are so concerned and so worried that Deontay Wilder, if I say something about it, if I say something negative, then he's not going to have a little chat with me. He's going to be really upset with me. They're biased. They're pulling the wool over your eyes. Don't you understand? Are you starting to see now? Wilder saying 60-40 in his favour or no fight. 60-40. And if you believe this, now I know that Wilder can come out with anything and say, yeah, but we should be fighting in Timbuktu. I'll fight you if we fight in Timbuktu. And I get 80%. There'll be clowns out there that go, yeah, Wilder's right. This is what they do. And if they don't agree with something, they won't make a video on it. They won't. Wilder's losing his mind every time he speaks. Speak it, believe it, receive it. He's losing his mind. And you people are following him. Listen, I hope Tyson Fury bashes him up. I hope he just absolutely annihilates him in that ring on December the 1st. I hope that's what he does. I don't believe it's going to happen, but I hope that's what happens. I hope. Because Tyson Fury will get in the ring with Anthony Joshua. He will do it. Wilder just not interested. Wilder, what is it with the PBC guys? You've got Wilder scared to death of taking on Dillian Whyte. Refused to fight him on several occasions. Refused. Anthony Joshua, the more money than he's ever made in his damn career in one fight. And he refused for undisputed, even though it's not about money, it's about legacy. And now he's saying 60-40. Again, pricing himself out. He don't want the fight. He got Errol Spence Jr. also with the PBC. He was showing all the good stuff after the Kell Brook fight. Yeah, I want to take on this guy like Danny Garcia. I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm like, yes, that's what a champion should be doing. Big up Errol Spence. Terence Crawford comes along. No, man, he's on the wrong side of the street. What is that supposed to mean? You're a Showtime fighter. Well, no, actually you're not. You're a PBC fighter that is not legally contracted to fight on Showtime. There is nothing in the world stopping you from going over to ESPN and fighting on a Top Rank show. Nothing is going to stop you, but you're using the networks as an excuse. Floyd Mayweather comes out recently and says about Errol Spence Jr. as well. No, we're not looking to make Terence Crawford next. Why? Again, PBC. You got Keith Thurman. Disappeared off the damn face of the earth. He was doing great, absolutely fantastic. He took on Sean Porter, fantastic. He took on Danny Garcia, fantastic for unification. Since then, disappeared into hiding. You even mentioned the name Errol Spence Jr. and he just disappears for forever. He goes inside his cave and closes the door. What's going on with the PBC over there? Well, is it like part of a mental test? Before you can sign with PBC, we have to know, do you have a spine of a jellyfish? Because these are the kind of people that they're attracting. Floyd Mayweather didn't fight Amir Khan, didn't fight Keith Thurman, instead chose Andre Berto. What is going on, people? What's going on? And then comes back and takes on Conor McGregor. And you people pay for it. Just pay. Well, I say you people. I actually bought it as well, to be fair. I ain't gonna lie. But you know what? It was a novelty. But anyway, the list goes on. It's up and down the PBC. Up and down. The only kind of guys that are really kind of serious at the PBC, Mikey Garcia is serious. He's taken on everybody. Fantastic. Yet these PBC fanboys throw Mikey Garcia under the bus for whatever reason. You've got the Charlo twins. What have they done? What have they done? Who have they fought? What unification fights have they been in? What unification fights have they tried to make? Jamal Charlo moves up to 160, takes on that guy, was it Highland or whatever his name was, who had a damaged leg and become mandatory. And now the WBC are saying that, well, now for the official mandatory, you're going to have to take on Triple G. But yet his fans are like, well, that's not fair, he should fight Canelo. Canelo's over at DAZN. So therefore, Canelo is ducking Charlo. Have a word with yourself. Have an absolute word with yourself. On what planet is he? It's absolutely outrageous. There's something going on in the PBC, and the fanboys over there are just becoming an absolute joke. Are you lot starting to see it yet? Are you starting to see that they're saying all this? They're only here to hate. When was the last time that you heard a positive video from any of them? When was the last one? Please point me in the right direction of a positive video. These people are, at once upon a time, were praising Terence Crawford. Yet Terence Crawford says to Errol Spence Jr., via his promoter, Bob Arum, who is paid to be his mouthpiece, says, we're ready to make that fight next. But yet Terence Crawford is ducking Errol Spence Jr. Are you having a laugh? Lomachenko is ducking every man and his dog, apparently. Are you kidding me? 3-weight world champion. How many fights? How many? He's about to unify. Again in December. But no, he's not the right guy that you want. Lomachenko's ducking Rigondeaux. Yeah? He's ducking Rigondeaux. Okay. Rigondeaux should... You know what? He can move up and he'll still whoop Vasyl Lomachenko. Vasyl Lomachenko embarrasses him. And then suddenly, oh well, it's a weight thing. You guys are absolute jackasses. Are any of you guys actually going to stand up and point the finger straight at Wilder and say, you have been taking the absolute piss out of us for the last year now. And like idiots, we've been supporting you. But no, you won't, because you're frightened to death that your boss is going to get angry with you. Because Wilder might not give him an interview no more. You guys are not leaders. You're sheep, is what you are. You believe in this guy who's running around saying, I want 60-40 or no fight. I want 50-50 or no fight. Yet Joshua, he's beaten Alexander Povetkin. He's beaten Joseph Parker of unification. Vladimir Klitschko, future Hall of Famer and unification. In his 16th fight, he took on Charles Martin for a world title fight. In his 15th fight, he took on the #1 WBC silver champion, #1 ranked in WBC, Dylan White. He took on, in his 17th fight, Dominic Brazil. Who is who? The WBC mandatory, yes, correct. These people that Wilder should have already fought. He hasn't even cleaned up domestically yet. Are you guys starting to see what an absolute oaf he is? And his management team, Shirley Finkel, don't want the fight. Makes everything personal. Well, he called me Shirley Winkle, Eddie Hearn did. It's all his fault. They don't want the fight. They don't want the fight. Are any of you guys actually going to make videos on this one? Are you actually going to do it and go in on Wilder saying, listen, quite clearly you don't want this fight? But no, they'll come up with something. And what makes it worse is that the little zombie followers will believe them. Come on now, 60-40, come on. 60-40, come on. Have an absolute word with yourself. Even 60-40 in Joshua's favour is a bit much. But hey, listen, if people are saying 60-40 in Joshua's favour, listen, at least you're kind of acknowledging that Joshua is the A-side. And he is the A-side, but people don't like hearing that. They're not talking about money, but yet they're counting Wilder's pockets all the way through. They're counting Floyd Mayweather's pockets all the way through, they were. But people are just so anti-Eddie Hearn because he's a little bit arrogant. Yeah, he is arrogant. He is. But isn't that like, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but isn't that the way it is in America? You have to be loud, you have to be confident. And when Eddie Hearn is loud and he's confident and he's brash, that's a problem. But yet when Wilder does it, that's okay. When other people do it, that's okay. When Floyd Mayweather was doing it, that's okay. These people have no code. They have no code. And I know they all have like their little group AA meetings of singing Imhotep, Imhotep, Deontay Wilder, swinging off his nuts like Tarzan. You guys are an absolute embarrassment. If you don't pull this guy up over this, then you guys are just exposed. There's no coming back for you from this one. None whatsoever. And if Wilder loses very, very soon, and he will not see the end of 2019 with that WBC title. I guarantee it. He will not. I guarantee it. He's had it way too easy for a long, long time now. And even the WBC are getting a little tired of it now. And you can see it. When he fought Luis Ortiz, he was forced into it by Showtime, Steven Espinoza. And it's on record that he was forced into it. Anyway, 60-40, Deontay Wilder's favour. That's what he says. Eddie Hearn's not happy about it. Don't blame him. Personally, I think Eddie Hearn, Joshua, just bin him off. Fight. Get Dylan White to fight Dominic Brazil for the mandatory next. Do everything that you can to make that fight. Do everything that you can. Because when Dylan White wins, and I do believe he will beat Dominic Brazil, he then becomes mandatory. The WBC then force in December the mandatory position, as I've already promised. Therefore, Wilder cannot avoid Dylan White anymore. So yeah, it will take 42 fights for Wilder to actually step up. Unless, of course, there's a two-way rematch with Tyson Fury, which there probably well is. Of course, he's cherry-picked Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's been out for how long? In what kind of condition? In what kind of mental state? In what kind of addictions? You people make too many excuses. Are you guys actually going to come out of your little ego, shall we call it, and actually confront Wilder on this one? And actually make videos saying, no, this is ridiculous. You've been having us on. In fact, everyone else is right. Wilder, you are a fake fraud of a champion. You're not a champion. You're a title holder. You're a belt holder. But people don't want to admit it, do they? Because that means that everything that they've done, all the lies, all the hate, all the racism, all the kind of absolute garbage that these guys have been saying, it's going to come back and bite them in the ass, isn't it? But they won't do it, will they? Of course they won't. They'll either ignore it or make excuses. Drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.